I have to report that the order of the day, private members' business, relating to the motion on carbon price has been debated in the Federation Chamber and is returned to the House for further consideration. The question is the motion be agreed to, and I now call the member for Longman.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I rise tonight to again speak out in support of locals who are being hit hard by the carbon tax. Last week marked the shameful anniversary of 2 years since our Prime Minister misled the Australian people and declared that there would be no carbon tax under a government she led. Local small businesses in our community are now bearing the weight of this deception about a tax that is not only making life much more expensive, but squeezing small businesses who are already doing it tough. On Friday, I visited a small business in my electorate, a business that has been hit hard by the carbon tax and is receiving no assistance from the federal Labor government for the pain it is causing. I spoke with Craig from the local food works in Burpengary, who has just been notified by his electricity company that his costs have gone up dramatically due to the carbon tax. Craig receives monthly accounts for his electricity and, upon receiving his July account, realised that his business was footing a $1,300 carbon tax bill for 1 month alone. This is exactly what Craig's bill actually specifies he is paying for the carbon tax alone. What is clear is that, in contrast with what this Labor government is trying to spin, small businesses are indeed facing huge costs under the carbon tax. Craig's business will be paying over $15,500 each year in carbon tax on his electricity alone, which doesn't account for his increased cost in fresh produce, freight or meat products, despite the fact that he has had assurances from suppliers that prices will definitely be rising as a direct result of the carbon tax. Craig pointed out that, and I quote, "The carbon tax is going to cost people their jobs and hurt them in the hip pocket. We'll absorb as much as we can, but we can't possibly absorb 100% of the cost of the carbon tax." Mr. Deputy Speaker, I was also speaking with another local business on Friday, Red Cell Air, whose costs are also rising. The main impost for Red Cell Air is refrigeration gas, and the cost of the most common type of refrigerant gas has increased by over 350% with the carbon tax. Tony from Red Cell Air told me that he was already well aware of the ways the carbon tax will hurt his business. Tony said, and I quote, "The carbon tax is already having a clear impact on costs for business. Refrigerant gas has been hit hard with the carbon tax. Prior to the 1st of July, our most common type of refrigerant gas was $31.40 per kilo. After the 1st of July, it is $112.82 per kilo, directly due to the impact of the carbon tax. This is more than a 350% rise in the cost for what is a key factor in our business." Last week, I also spoke extensively with my 2 local chambers of commerce. The president of Bribie Island Chamber of Commerce told me that her members are very concerned about their future prospects under the carbon tax. She told me that the people know they will be hit hard with the carbon tax, and many people just aren't spending money. Local businesses are the one who will ultimately lose out. She said that businesses are closing now more than they were with the GFC. That for small business, the killer is that customers are not spending money because they are frightened to get their electricity bills. Commerce Caboolture also reports a similar story, saying that there is little doubt that the recently introduced carbon tax will increase the cost of all businesses. With consumer and business confidence low, there is a great deal of uncertainty about how much of these costs can be passed on. This means that businesses that have been doing it tough already may be squeezed even further. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I note with some obvious interest tonight that the Labor Party has pre-selected its candidate for the federal seat of Longman at the next election. Let me take this opportunity as the first available opportunity to sincerely congratulate my opponent. I know it is not an easy thing to be pre-selected by a major political party. But I note in his media release that, and I quote, "I believe our MPs should understand the day-to-day cost of living pressures in our area." Well, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I would love to know how the carbon tax is going to help one person in our local community. How is any of the 26 new or increased taxes since federal Labor came to power going to help locals in our community? The Coalition has a very clear plan for how it will help Australians. We will restore hope, reward and opportunity. We will reduce cost of living pressures, grow the economy, strengthen the nation and deliver the stable and accountable government Australians deserve.
Thank the member for Longman for his contribution.